What's up, guys? The Arid Lord is here. Welcome back to another vlog. This is going to be a part two of something that I made in the May, June, early summer. It talked about Shannon Sharp, former football tight end, Hall of Famer, and former co-host on Undisputed, leaving the show, leaving Skip Bayless. And I talked about, at the time, it was just a rumor. I discussed Shannon liking a lot of tweets from people saying disparaging stuff about Skip and the fact that he was liking it, and it was just a bad look. I talked from both sides, like stuff that Skip did wrong, stuff that Shannon, I didn't feel like he was handling it in a good PR way, especially with liking the tweets that people were just throwing flames and Molotov cocktails at Skip, and it just felt unprofessional to be liking that. I know that's not like public, but like anyone can look at stuff that it's very easy to create an account and go see what someone's liking on Twitter. And if they're doing it, I mean, people do it for athletes all the time. When athletes like Breece Hall last week in the Cowboys game tweeted out 4 footballs to emphasize, oh, I only carried the ball 4 times. And then people look at that, and there are shows like the Rich Eisen show which then use that as like a discussion point. So anything you say or do, it's online, it's social media, and deleting a tweet means nothing. People can take a screenshot. Once you hit send, it's out there permanently. Deleting means nothing. People can take screenshots. Same with YouTube. They can take your videos, re-upload it. As someone who's made videos in the past that people have re-uploaded, trust me, it happens. So I wasn't, it was just such a negative, unfortunate thing. And then sure enough, when the NBA Finals concluded, literally the day that the Nuggets, I think it was the following day that the Nuggets won the NBA championship, literally that show was when Shannon left. And it was just sad because you could tell that like he was upset to leave, and, it was all like a great emotional, like, handshake. Like, it was all cordial on that final taping. But then as the months went on, stuff came out. Most recently, like, as I'm filming this on 9/25, just a few days ago, actually, I have the image right here. I kind of like hit it. Shannon Sharp was a guest on Stephen A. Smith's podcast, which is just called The Stephen A. Smith Show. And he went in, basically, Stephen A. Smith did not curveball anything. He basically went as deep into all of the tense subject matter as you possibly could get. He talked about the 2 big incidences where the relationship was really strained. Mainly when Skip was saying "so what" to Shannon's Hall of Fame career, when he was just being completely disrespectful. It was when Tom Brady in Tampa Bay lost to Brock Purdy in the 49ers. It was like a 35-7 blowout. Tom Brady played poorly. It was the waning days of Brady, the waning days of his career, the fact that he, had his divorce and other things on his mind. He really should have retired the year before. I mean, that's neither here nor there. This video is not a discussion on Tom Brady and whether he should have retired or not. But like looking back historically, like, he really, he might have padded his stats with some extra yards, but, he really should have just retired and, called it a career the previous year when he originally retired, and then he unretired for some reason. But, maybe if he hadn't done that, if he had retired when he originally planned to, that topic never would have existed. It's very weird, kind of the butterfly effect of how things change, because if he hadn't been playing football, there's no debate topic to roast Tom Brady for losing to Brock Purdy because he's not playing for the Buccaneers. So, I don't know. Maybe history is very different. Of course, though, I mean, the one thing that wouldn't have changed is the Damar Hamlin thing, where he collapsed on the field and had to be resuscitated, brought back. And Skip had Twitter comments that were not, he was talking more about the playoff implications in the game than the actual health of the player. Shannon kind of had like a silent protest by not coming into the show Monday. It was just Skip. And then the following day, like Shannon kind of, they had like a really, really just brutal, like, where Skip wasn't letting, like, I don't know, like he wasn't letting Shannon finish his point. Like he was trying to bring it up that the bosses wanted Skip to take something down. And he's like, oh, no, that didn't happen. But, the combination of those two instances. And so Stephen A. Smith brought both of these up and made Shannon kind of just talk about it. He talked about how he had to hold back a lot of anger when the Tom Brady topic came up. How he, in his famous saying about the Skip stuff, is that he didn't want to allow 6 bad months to ruin 7 good years, or 6 good years, whatever. And, again, that's the mature approach. For the most part, Shannon has a very level-headed, mature approach to things. It's one of the reasons I love following him. And that's a great way to look at it. I think I was really, really disappointed with Skip Bayless throughout it because I kind of was half and half criticism in my last video. But now looking at it, like, yeah, I mean, Skip Bayless definitely was completely foolish to treat Shannon the way he treated him because he lost his best debate partner. And, I'm setting up the framework now with these comments about Shannon being on the Stephen A. show and the stuff that happened and the elaboration. The fact that Shannon was pushed out because Stephen A. kept reporting that Shannon was pushed out of Undisputed. And I guess it was true because I guess there were some reports that Shannon wanted more say in the debate topics. And it was really Skip who had the imperial order, the one who could veto any decision. I don't know why, the way his contract was set up, he just had this totalitarian authority, which is just very bizarre. And it's like, why, if you're Skip, why would you not let Shannon have more say? The dude is like one of the major reasons people watch Undisputed. Why are you not letting him have a say? I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, that's, again, pretty pathetic on Skip's part. And I'm setting up all this framework because now both Stephen A. and Shannon, since, are on First Take together. It's hilarious because everybody took the other person's commentating crew and swapped shows. So the crew you see in the upper right, Emmett Smith, Keyshawn, and so Richard Sherman, I guess Richard was already on Fox, but he just did the Thursday Night Football stuff. Keyshawn, I think he was on First Take and did debate stuff. I'm not really sure what he did previous. Emmett Smith definitely was on First Take. He was on a lot of Stephen A. Smith segments, especially the Cowboys segments. Emmett Smith being a big Cowboys fan and, debating Stephen A. Hating the Cowboys, much like Shannon. So they swap, and then obviously Shannon was on Undisputed, and then he goes over to First Take, and like they're on opposite networks now. So it's like you date you go and date your ex's ex or something. Like, you go and date like your ex's sister, and then they get angry and say, "Oh, I'm going to date your sister." Like, it's just like, it's just so weird from like a business perspective because Disney, ESPN, and Fox, like, they are two separate companies. Like, the thing is, like, the way I've heard Shannon talk about Jamie Horowitz and some of the CEO decision makers and all of this, like, he just uses the terms interspersed, like interchangeably. Like, is there crossover between the two networks? Like, it's just, this seems so easy for like Emmett Smith to just jump over to Undisputed from First Take, and for Shannon to go from Undisputed to First, it seemed so easy for them all to just kind of cross over. Like, once the wheels were in motion for a few months, right? It took the rest of June, July, August to get all of this. And then it was the end of August that the new Undisputed show launched, and then shortly thereafter, Stephen A., after Labor Day weekend, started with Shannon. But it's just, I don't understand it from a business perspective. Like, maybe it's just like in the entertainment sports debate center, maybe there's more like, you have an agent, maybe the agents know like the head personnels between the two networks. And it's like, yeah, like we'll swap, we'll do this, we'll do that. But I guess so. Yeah, that's confusing to me. And I guess the main meat of this video, right? Like I'm doing all this setup. The main thing I'm really trying to get to in this video to discuss is the fact that I don't think either product is good right now. And I'm just going to say that straight up. I enjoy, like, Shannon still has great monologues when he talks about the football games that he watches, because he was a former athlete, and I always love and appreciate the way he breaks down a game. If something went wrong in the game, or there was a coverage breakdown or something that led to a team losing or winning, he's great at identifying that little nugget of information and disseminating it to the audience. So that I still can get from a few of the First Take videos. But and Stephen A., don't get me wrong, great debater. I don't think that there is as much chemistry as they're letting on. The problem is you have two, like, type B personalities, or is it type A? Basically, you have two personalities that are super similar, right? Because both of these individuals, at one point or another in their career, these were the previous two guys that Skip debated. He debated Shannon for the 6-7 years, and then I forget how many years he was debating Stephen A., maybe for the same amount of time, roughly. So these are the two guys that Skip has spent the majority of his career over these past, like, 10-15 years, and now they've teamed up. Like, it's just such, like, a weird thing. It's like I'm watching, like, a Marvel movie, and, like, two villains, like the enemy of my enemy is, like, teaming up or something to, It's like the freaking the Thor movie where they use the giant monster to defeat the queen on the freaking on the Ragnarok monster to defeat. It's like, like, I can't beat you, but he can, or whatever the fuck. Like, I don't know. It's bizarre, but I don't think either product is working, because Richard Sherman has some good insights. Keyshawn it's okay. And Emmitt Smith has some moments where, like, there were some segments where Emmitt Smith was kind of, like, making me laugh on some of his analogies and stuff. But the issue is that Skip is now the moderator. Like, he's debating and he's the moderator of Undisputed. He also doesn't get much airtime, because you sometimes have 3-4 people sitting around the table, and you need, on one topic, to get all of their opinions in. And if you go through 4 or 5 topics, you're giving each person maybe, like, 5 to 10 minutes to speak. Like, it's just not, like, with Undisputed, it was perfect. Shannon went, had his whole thing, and then Skip went, had his whole thing. They would interrupt each other. Skip would always fucking interrupt Shannon, but they would go back and forth, interrupt each other. And, you had the loud, boisterous personality from Shannon, and then Skip was, soft-spoken, but was looking for ways to get his little jabs in. And they had clashing views. Skip is a big Michael Jordan fan versus Shannon being a big LeBron James fan. Skip is a huge Cowboys fan, and Shannon hates the Cowboys. Back in the day, Tom Brady, Skip, freaking diehard Tom Brady fan, like I am. And Shannon, he's admitted that Tom Brady's the GOAT before, but he's also said that Brady's not above reproach. He's been very critical when Brady plays bad. And then Skip is like, oh, Brady can never do any wrong, even when he friggin' loses, which is just stupid. Even me as a Brady fan, like, I always blamed who needed to be blamed. Like, if Brady played like crap, yeah, he played like crap. He can be the GOAT and play like crap. Two things can be true. Like Patrick Mahomes, who people are now trying to say is the GOAT, which he's not. He's played terrible games. Like that first game against the Lions that he lost this year, didn't play well. Hell, he lost the Super Bowl he didn't play well in. They blew a 21-3 lead over the Bengals in the AFC Championship, where he scored like 3 points in the second half. Like, Mahomes has had terrible games too, but we don't think he's any less. Like, every quarterback has bad games. Football's a team sport. You're never going to be completely in sync. But anyway, not to get off topic. I don't think either format's working. And I saw that there was a huge ratings drop for Undisputed, because which show is going to beat out? Because you've got you've got the heavier personalities that can carry the television conversation with Stephen A. and Shannon, rather than with Skip. Like, Emmett Smith can be loud but it's just, it gets a bit much. And again, you have so many figures in the room. The show is also about Skip, but like you're not getting Skip's opinion like that much because he has to share it so often, and he's the moderator. Like, I guess I'm saying that both shows don't work, but I'm also saying that I really miss the old Undisputed, man. Like, when I'm filming this, the Cowboys just were a 12.5-point favorite over the Arizona Cardinals. And they, in hilarious Cowboy fashion, hilarious, right? Like 2 games in the season, everyone's saying they're going to the fucking Super Bowl, and they lose to a team that everyone, Vegas had them annihilating, right? It's classic. It's classic Cowboys. And this would have been the perfect thing if Skip and Shannon were still doing their show, for Skip to, like, depending how ridiculous he wanted to get, like, and then Shannon could have brought in, remember when Shannon brought in props? He would always bring in like Hennessy. There would be times he would make like mixed drinks and stuff. Like, I remember actually the waning days of Undisputed. He brought in, like, for one of the NBA playoff games, like he brought in like something. And it was just like, he was like, I remember he brought in a mixed drink and was just going like nuts and berserk. And there are times where it makes Skip laugh. Like, I like how, like, Skip has such a guarded personality, but there are sometimes Shannon like makes him laugh and break through. I miss it, man. You will never, I'm going to say this for both teams, you will never get better. They had the perfect combination for 2 sports debaters. You had a renowned journalist with a huge journalistic background, and you had a renowned sports athlete who was turning into a journalist. And it was peanut butter and jelly. It melded so well together. They put FS1 on the map. It was incredible. I discovered it and got interested in it. Like, I jumped on it when I was like, man, like I'm loving this. Every like big game, I would tune into Undisputed. Like, what do they have to say? Who do I agree with more? And I only get a watered down. It's like a lukewarm, watered down version on both shows. It's just like, you can tell on both shows that there's just something missing. From the Undisputed one, from the Stephen A. First Take, both shows, there is just a gaping hole. And it is so disheartening. It is so disheartening because, I don't know why Skip couldn't just be a better friend to Shannon. I don't know why he couldn't stop with the fucking personal insults, jerking off to Tom Brady every 4 seconds. I also don't understand why Skip has to take the debate so winning the debate. Like, I want Skip to understand something, right? You are still getting paid millions of dollars to be the sports analyst debater that you are. You don't get paid any more for winning a debate, right? Because with Shannon, when he played in the NFL, there was a real reason, like winning the Super Bowl for your city, winning a Super Bowl ring, going down in the Hall of Fame in Canton. I guess you do get extra money per playoff game. I think that's how it works. But when you're in the NFL and you're playing a sport, NBA, hockey, whatever, there is a real reason to be pushing forward and to the public fame that comes with that, like endorsements, yada, yada, yada. But like, this is a fucking 2.5 hour debate show. You are literally just using your, formulating an opinion debate. It's almost like, hell, when I was in college and I was taking philosophy and ethics, we would have debate classes where we would go back and forth. Do we agree with this philosopher's opinion? How well did we debate? Public speaking classes, how well are we disseminating information? And, my videos doing this has a lot, like, I don't have a script for anything I'm saying right now. I just say it off the cuff. And I honestly, in some ways, think I wouldn't be half bad at some of the sports journalism commentary stuff that Skip and Shannon do. Like, I do think I'm very good at it. It's just an area, with with my aspirations to be a writer and an author, to write fiction, I haven't, that's not like something I've wanted to go after. But I certainly, it depends what the topic material is. Like, there are some sports I follow more than others, and for most of my life I haven't. Like, if you look at my YouTube channel, it's video games and The Walking Dead. The entertainment industry is more where I lean. Maybe like a video game commentator, but the days of X-Play and G4 are long gone. They don't pay people like that anymore. And there's so many YouTube influencers. So hence why I'm here. There's a lot of, the video game talk show people, most of them come YouTube side. So, but yeah, my point is that Skip just took the debates way too fucking seriously. Like, and Shannon said this in his interview with Stephen A. Like, one of the reasons Skip had the personal attack when they had that Tom Brady subject when he lost to the 49ers was that he felt like he was losing the debate. And he did this so many times, whether it was with Baker Mayfield or some other athlete that Skip was just, out of his mind for. If he felt like he was losing the debate, he would go to this personal level and just dirty tactics. Like, you're in boxing and you're punching someone below the belt in the nads. Like, that's A, a violation, and B, that's just against, like, the bro code, the man code, the fucking code. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, it's almost like in football. Like, you grab the face mask or helmet to helmet, that's a 15-yard personal foul, and you might possibly be ejected for how egregious it was. So, the same rules apply in a debate format. Like, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, Skip's an interesting breed because, again, I told you guys in the last video, I met both of these guys. I met Shannon and Skip when they did the Super Bowl 54 show down in Miami, Florida. I got to shake their hands and meet and greet after the show. And Skip is a very even-keeled guy. Like, I was able to just very plainly talk to him because, like, he was always talking about, Brady could take 3 guys from Dorchester and make them a tight end. I was like, Skip, that's hilarious. You being from New York and LA, you probably have no idea of the geography of Massachusetts. Little do you realize I live like 2 towns over from Dorchester. So like, and Dorchester is such a scudsy, crappy little town that's just on the outskirts of Boston. And it's just like, why are you picking fucking Dorchester? It made me laugh, but like, I was able to have interpersonal chats with him. Shannon, is a wealth of wisdom, all the stuff that the hardships growing up with his grandma. Like, that's the thing. Like, Shannon has like a nice, like, come up from your bootstraps, into the NFL. And that's why, like, the wisdom he would put into all the shows. Like, he had so much wisdom, but also the football knowledge and the journalism. It was like 3-4 things all melded together, and he had a great personality to disseminate it. And then you had Skip with the journalism background. This is probably one of the biggest, like, sports television entertainment losses that's not related to athletes playing, like, this is a monumental loss. And I don't know at what point the network will reanalyze, because if the viewership, I was looking at this article. So this was September 1st. It says, the premiere of the new and improved Undisputed Live drew 131,000 viewers on Monday to 448,000 for ESPN's top-rated show First Take. The gap widened on Tuesday with Undisputed Live averaging 120K and 474 for First Take. Undisputed Live plummeted to 78,000 on Wednesday to 423 for First Take. Now, I know that people are getting their information in different ways. Some people are illegally streaming this crap, just rewatching YouTube videos. But that's bad, man. Like, and that's the thing. Like, at what point do Jamie Horowitz and the upper level people say, hey, you tried your best, but there was no athlete on the planet that Skip could replace. Like, Richard Sherman is an okay second, but he can't be on the show every day. That's the other thing. The format of Undisputed changes every day. Like, one day, like, it's, maybe that's like they wanted to have diversity, maybe so it's not bland. Like, one day it's just Skip and Keyshawn, one day it's Skip, Keyshawn, and Richard, and then some days Emmett's on the show, but he's not. And then Lil Wayne comes on the show. It's like, I like Lil Wayne as a rapper. I don't really care to hear what he has to say on fucking, even when it was Skip and Shannon, Lil Wayne would come on. I'd be like, what Why do I care what the fuck? I mean, Skip has a hard on for Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne did the intro for both versions of Undisputed. Whatever. But yeah, it's just format changes, and then the same thing can be said of First Take and Stephen A. and Shannon. They are only on for 2 days. Monday and Tuesday are the only days currently that you get the two of them. I've seen that they've traveled on weekends to some of the different sports games for some of the college games, but I haven't really seen that coverage. I mean, but you're more on the scene covering something that's different. Yeah, I don't know. It's just there's problems with both shows, and that's the thing. Like, it's like, oh, who's doing it better? They're both lacking so much character because they lost their core. Like, oh man. You know what my dream would be? I almost imagine a dream reunion where like Skip, Shannon, and Stephen A. like all. And there's actually like a few episodes of First Take in 2016 where the three of them are all on the show, because it was Skip and Stephen A., but then Shannon would come in as a guest. And that was kind of like the dress rehearsal for Shannon kind of getting the job with Skip later. And so that would be cool if there was like a reunion. I mean, it won't happen. You got two clashing networks. They're not going to merge their shows. It's if they were the same network, maybe, but they're not. So, like, you can't merge, like, you can't. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. So, anyway, almost 30-minute video. I'm just disappointed that this is, like, I wake up on some Mondays and I'm like, man, this would be, like, again, the Cowboys-Cardinals game is a perfect example where I'm like, man, this would be a great topic for these two, for Skip and Shannon to debate. Oh, but I'm never going to know about that. Like, any of the great matchups the remainder of this NFL season, going into the Super Bowl, even into the NBA season, I'll never get the quality that I got from Skip and Shannon. And it's still cool to hear Shannon's takes on stuff. He does the podcast with Chad Ochocinco now. He still does club shit. But the format is not befitting him is the problem. Like, all these things are great. Club Shay Shay stands apart because he's interviewing like famous people, singers, rappers, influential entrepreneurs. So that stands separate. But anything sports related, like, he just doesn't have the person to clash with. Ocho Cinco sometimes clashes with Shannon, but like he's not a good debate person on the podcast. It's not like, that's the thing. Skip may be ridiculous sometimes, but he knows how to debate, because this is his main job. He's a journalist who went to school and studied and wants to be the best at it. And that's the thing. It's almost like Shannon can't find the other person who's really good at that. And again, Stephen A., of course, is amazing at it. But I just think that their personalities are too similar. And they also agree on too many things. They do disagree on the Jordan LeBron stuff, but like, they both hate the Cowboys. Like, Tom Brady's gone, so they can't debate about that anymore. Like, there's too many things where they're just like, yep, I agree. It's like, what makes for good TV is the debate. Like, debate. There's not enough debate happening in the First Take format. And Undisputed, it's the same. Actually, both shows suffer from it. Both shows don't have enough debate. And what Skip and Shannon had, it was a debate. Because Skip would come in, no, my Cowboys are good. They should have won the game. Here's why. Shannon would be like, no, you're wrong. Let me break down these plays from an athlete's perspective and tell you why you're wrong. But now, again, you're getting some of that, but it ain't the same, man. And it's just, I wish they had settled their grievances. I wish Skip hadn't been so fucking disrespectful last year. And just like, he should have been like, Shannon, you are the best debate partner I've ever had. You can have say in the debate topics, and like, I heard Shannon say, like, Skip, wasn't really the type of guy to befriend him. Like, Shannon missed more of the people from makeup department and production than he did Skip Bayless. It's like, the guy you debated never really, like, why can't you try, it's almost like the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick thing. If Bill Belichick just put his arm around Tom Brady and said, hey, I care about you and I value you for everything you've done, maybe things would have been different. He might not have gone to Tampa. But it's the same thing here. All Skip had to do was say, you are the best thing. We have crushed this network. We have an insanely successful show. We can let's think of new, like, they could have done the same thing where Skip and Shannon, like, have more guests come on, or they change up the format. Like, they together could have strategized how to make the show better. It's like, okay, maybe if it's becoming stale, when it's LeBron, Cowboys, and Tom Brady, a lot of people complained about the same topics over and over. Let's change it up. And like, they could have done this, and they didn't, because of fucking personal beef and just other stupid shit. Yeah, no, it's just disappointing. This is just kind of like a review of both shows and just kind of the sad state of where it's at, and the fact that it's just very heartbreaking. So, but there's nothing you can do. I don't know. Skip has too much pride to reach out to Shannon and say, I'm wrong. Even if he did, Shannon's not going back. Shannon seems pretty happy with Stephen A. And that's the thing. Like, as long as they get a good chunk of viewership, they're not changing the format. So the chances of this ever going back are slim to none. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I figured I needed to do a part 2, a sequel to the video where I talked about Shannon leaving. Very disheartening. And yeah, I'd be curious to know your opinion. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Peace out.